Hello, this is Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today we are going back to Alaska. And today we have Kathy Hedges with us, and she is with Northern Alaska Tour Company, and she is going to talk to us about one of the most unique experiences you can have in the Denali area. So welcome aboard, Kathy.
All right, well, thank you very much for having me. And yes, we're going to talk about the wonderful mountain that's behind me.
That's right. And if you don't know what that mountain is, you have not been watching my show. So that is Mount Denali, Mount McKinley in Denali National Park. But the company you represent, Kathy, what you do is so interesting. Why don't you give us a little background on the company and tell us how you get started?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think it's a very Alaskan story because how Northern Alaska Tour Company started was a group of friends that graduated from a local high school, West Valley, just down the road from here, that they graduated and like many got summer jobs, and some of them were in the visitor industry, and they were being asked, this was 1986, and they were being asked of like, there's this Trans-Alaska Pipeline, the Arctic Circle, how do I get there? And there was no tours. And they bought themselves a van, bought themselves a business, license, and starting the summer of 1987, they had a summer job. One day they might be guiding, the next day washing the van, the next day prepping the lunches. But for the next 4 years, they had their own summer job. They did just Fairbanks to the Arctic Circle and back. Graduation happened, and some of them went to their given professions, and others sat there and said, there's a lot more off that we can do here. And so, I'm not going to give you a yearly update, but pretty much jump from there to today. And we're now year round. Not only do we have our original drive adventure to the Arctic Circle, we fly there. We fly and drive. We stay overnight. And we now go south to Denali, just really offering this up. And a tagline that we use a lot is sharing Alaska's Arctic. And that's what this group of friends discovered they had a niche for, is that it wasn't just taking people to the Arctic Circle, is they really shared it as friends. You won't see our company name isn't emblazoned on our vans or our coaches, because we're taking friends up there. Come on up and join us. We're going to share this region with you. So that's in short of how we got started and where we are today.
Sure. And for our listeners, this is so important because for decades, everybody has thought about Alaska being that area of Juneau, Ketchikan, and Skagway, because the cruise lines do a fantastic job of marketing that. And we have spent so much time over the last couple of years really to introduce people more to Anchorage and Denali and Fairbanks. What we're talking about of now is the area north of Fairbanks. So for the person that wants to have that Alaska experience, not just May through October, but all year round, this is a fantastic company. But today we're going to talk about something that I find so appealing. You can do this as part of a land-based vacation in that Fairbanks to Anchorage area, or part of an Alaskan cruise if you are going to the Anchorage area on a one-way northbound or southbound cruise. And this is Denali Summer Summit Flights. Now you operate from the town of Healy. Now, a lot of people won't know where that is, so maybe you could tell us where that is and how you get there.
Okay, well, Healy is on what's known as the Parks Highway. So that's the highway that doesn't start in Anchorage, but in general is that Anchorage to Fairbanks connection. And so Healy is just 11 miles north of the Denali National Park entrance. And it's a town of about 1,000 people year round, definitely increases come summertime. And it was started for coal mining, but it is the service area and the service seat, if you will, for Denali National Park, offering the accommodations, meals, and tours for people that are getting out and about. And then how does somebody come get to us is one on the independent side. A lot of independent visitors will be driving in and around Alaska, so they easily can drive to us at the Healy Airport. Or if guests are staying in the Denali Canyon or Healy, we actually do a shuttle service for guests to come to our property or to the airport.
Sure. And seeing Denali is what drives a lot of people to the area. But this is so interesting, this experience. And so maybe describe to us why this is such a great experience.
Well, it's that experience because you're going to get the bird's eye view of the mountain that's very similar to what the hikers are going to get. You're not going to touch the mountain. We're not getting that close. But, hikers who take, weeks to prepare and then another week to even get to the top, we're going to do this flight in an hour and 15 minutes. And that's our goal, is to get to 20,000, 20,000 foot level, or 6,000 meters, to get that view of the summit. We're not landing, but again, we're going that high to really see the mountain that most visitors, casual visitors to the park, are not going to get.
Sure. And are there any limits for anybody thinking about this as far as accessibility or?
There is. I'll address accessibility there. We actually need to use oxygen for this flight because it's a non-pressurized flight. So one of our limits is you have to be 10 years of age or older, partly for the fit for the mask and directions by the pilot. So that's one limit. The other end, there's no limit for the age on the other side. Weight wise, the equipment, you have to be under 340 pounds dressed weight. And accessibility, we're not getting off the plane until you land back at Healy, but we have to get on the plane. And then unfortunately, there's no lift. And so we want anyone who can join us, but it is really important to know that there are stairs to get in and out of the plane. We're there to assist. Bring a friend that can assist, but anyone who wants to go, we want them to go. But if you are assisted 100% by a wheelchair, there will be lifting that needs to be done to get you in.
Sure. So the person that can get on the airplane and get off the airplane, they don't have to worry. We're not doing a glacier landing, so you don't have to get off and walk around on the ice.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing and
yeah,
so
really easy.
Again,
really.
So an amazing experience. You get to see the big focus, which is the mountain, but I bet you can see other stuff on the way up there and back, can you not?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's not, yes, the focus is the mountain. You first think about Denali, but when you take off, you're not at the mountain yet. And so it's taking a look at the valley, because we're going to take off usually to the north, the Tanana Valley, circle back around, and you're seeing the valleys of Denali National Park. And it's an immense park, it's not just the mountain. And so the pilot's going to be able to share information about the valley and the Denali National Park. And then there's glaciers that are coming off and going around that, again, the pilot's going to be able to, take you there to see them. And the route is not the same every single time. Weather is going to dictate that a little bit. So, we might take off and stay more to the north and kind of wrap around, or you might be more on the south. It just really, every day is unique, but it's seeing both the valley and the mountain.
Sure. And who's a good candidate for this experience?
Anybody.
I would think so.
It really is anybody. And it's, there's so much to do in Denali National Park that, for some, it allows them, like I say, it's only an hour and 15 minutes. And so when they're trying to do all those other activities, it really helps fit this activity in to see the mountain if they're looking to do some other activities as well. But yeah, young or old, unless they're under 10 years old, yeah, really anybody.
Sure. And do you operate all year round, or do you have a season?
Well, we for this one is one, it is a season for the Denali Summit flight, and that's because of the oxygen on board. We have cold temperatures. I don't want to go how extreme, but we have cold temperatures. And so for the Denali Summit flight, it is a summer only out of Healy operation. But year round, we actually do have a Denali Air Adventure. It's a lower level flight without the oxygen. So that we can do year round out of Fairbanks year round, or even in Denali. If someone is under 10 and they want to join us, we can do that lower flight too.
Sure. And then approximate price?
For the Denali Summit flight, we're looking at $429 per person.
Sure. So that's a very good price for the type of experience that you're going to have. And I will share that, and I think you'll back me up on this, Mount Denali is not seen by everybody that goes to the Denali National Park. So there are days when you cannot see it from the park entrance. And even if you get on that approximately 90-mile bus ride, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see the mountain, but your chances of seeing the mountain from above are much better, are they not?
They are. And, does weather affect us? Yes, it can. We're not going to go if it's not safe. But because of us being equipped with the oxygen, there are days, and this picture almost is one of those type of days, is that if there's a low cloud that a lower level flight or helicopters can't take off, but when we're taking off to the north, that the weather is clear, we can take off to the north because of the oxygen, come through the open hole, again, safe flying. And then basically you're then seeing the mountain, right above the clouds. And yeah, that's magical because it's you're coming out of nothing and then whoa, there's the mountain.
Yes, and so much clearer up there.
Yeah.
And so this is my final question of the day. I'm sure you've done this many times. What is the most unique experience you've ever had doing this?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily unique, but we talked about it being open for everybody. I took my parents up there for my dad's 85th birthday. And, I mean, he's a lifelong Alaskan. Now we're from Southeast Alaska, but lifelong Alaskan, and just, seeing the fun on their faces we went up there, that young and old, and someone that's been around for a long time, I'll tell him he's been around for a long time. That was just, again, it's not so much unique, but a great memory I have of that experience.
Sure. So that's part of the experience for all of us. And here at Salty Breeze Cruise Planners, we always say that we help create lifelong lasting experiences, lifelong lasting memories. And this is a great way to do one of those. We've been talking with Kathy Hedges. She is with the Northern Alaska Tour Company. We've been talking about Denali Summit flights from the Healy area out to see Mount Denali. I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Kathy.
All right. Well, thank you. It's nice chatting with you.
And if anybody's looking for more information on Alaska or on this particular experience, we can be reached at 888-332-8202. Thank you.